I feel like when it comes to this book, the person who has the most power is definitely Star. And I feel like she has the most powers because, I mean, when you go back to the beginning of the book, it's like the entirety of the book revolves around Star's actions and everything that she does. And it's just like she says something wrong, you know, King and them kind of gets on her about that, or if she doesn't do anything at all, the rest of her friends get on her about that, or it's just like, you know, the cops get on her dad and junk and try to pressure her family so she doesn't do anything or say anything to get the cop in trouble, and it's just it feels like a lot to me. So for who has the most power in this book, I definitely feel like it's Star.
I would agree with what Aaron said. I feel as though Star had the most power because, like, in the beginning of the book, I think it was around like on chapter 10, where Star had to she had the chance to like protest, like she was in class and they sent like it was a whole group chat about let's protest for his death and whatever, and she chose not to. I understand she chose not to because it wasn't the right thing, but later on in chapter 15, it showed that she had the power because when she actually like grew that self-esteem to go up there and go in front of in front of the world and tell the story what actually happened. Like she got a crazy response. Like the media started blowing up. Like people started looking at what was his name again?
113. That's what they just kept
The
calling.
officer or
No, the boy.
Khalil.
There you go.
So like Khalil, people just started looking at him differently in the media, that he wasn't such a bad kid after all, and it was just like, I think if she did that from the jump, it would have had a more bigger impact instead of like her like waiting. But I mean, you can't.
Scared.
Yeah, she was scared at the end of the day. Like you don't know what type of emotion she was going through. But at the end of the day, she had the upper hand. I feel as though this whole time because she knew the true story what happened.
But that's why I have to disagree. Like most people say she has the upper hand, but to be completely honest, I think in this kind of story, I think the justice system had the upper hand. Even though she was protesting, which is great, she raised her voice, she spoke out about what was happening, she told people her side of the story. I still feel like they had the power because they chose whether or not he went to jail or not. In the end, he wound up not going, but in this particular situation, I feel like she didn't have the power. Well, at least she felt like she did, or people were giving her the
Kind of rallying her up.
saying, making her think that she had the power. And I feel like it's sad that it has to be like that I'm saying this, but I don't really think she had that power.
I agree with both sides because at first I thought Star did have power, but then I changed my mind.
So my answer is the same. I feel like the court system has the power in this situation and in this story. Star showed displays of power, but she didn't really have power. She didn't possess it. So my answer is the same.
I actually want to change mine. I think Star has the power. Either way, as you look at it, she didn't really have it, but she did because she's the one that's narrating the book and trying to get her story out.
As far as who has the power goes, I feel as though to the certain extent the law has some power, yes. But I feel as though they can only do but so much before the actual truth gets out. So really to me, I still feel like Star has the power because she's the one who knows the truth. And I feel like it's up to people to decide who's really telling the truth here. So in my eyes, it's Star.
Yeah. Like for me, I would say like I think they both had power, but I would say Star had like a little more power because of how the cop acted and how that whole scene went down. Like he did not perform the procedure that he was supposed to perform correctly, and like Star, even though she was traumatized and she was scared to speak up, she could have her voice would have made a big difference. Like especially for him and how people like criticize him and say how he was a drug dealer, he probably deserved to die and all that type of stuff. So I think even though I think they both had power, but I think Star had the most.
I want to say that the law totally has the power. But the only thing is that we possess the power to take away their power. So it's up to us, to acquire that power and use it with discretion and intelligence. So, yeah.
Yay!